for religion, they have institutions for welfare, they have institutions for volunteering, they have institutions for IT, for
okay, and what you're saying is there's people who don't condone this, who still go into these institutions, correct?
Half of the population are with Hezbollah. They have no other.
Oh, okay. So then that's my point.
So half of the two. So let's kill. Okay, great. You legitimize killing.
You have a moral responsibility for your own life.
Are Satanists, are devil. They must die. That you rebel. You're worshiping Satan. Fuck be happy in his hell. Correct.
No. Hold on. So if you're being oppressed by a people, okay, and you just accept, if you just accept it, it's either death by the enemy or death by your own government. Like you choose. So if you're just saying, well, you know, like my at least the people oppressing me are giving me shit, you know, like infrastructure and whatever. You know, it is what it is. I'll just accept this for now. But then when you die from the enemies of your government, you're gonna go and blame the enemies. How does that make any sense?
Bro, you know what? People literally spend 4,000 years explaining that the evil that they're doing is bad. They kicked them out of 109 countries. They fought them. They did all the shit they never learned. All this Hegelian dialectics it is using to justify the killing of babies and why they wanted
Hegelian dialectics.
Yeah.
Bro, why don't you just contend with what I just told you?
That's what you're saying. You're trying to use like an intellectual speaking linguistic tactics to justify the killing. At the end of the day,
what are you talking about? What are you talking about? It was very straightforward. It's very straightforward. There's people in your government oppressing you, and those people are going out and committing acts of terrorism.
American revolutionaries against the British government are all terrorists. They deserve to die. America should have never been created. Correct?
No. So again, why don't you just contend? It isn't. But why don't you just contend with what I'm telling you? Your own government is oppressing you, okay? And that same government is going into a sovereign nation, attacking and committing acts of violence and terrorism. And that government that you attacked is now attacking you. Now you're gonna say, well, my own government are terrorists, but they're protecting me at least. And now the enemy is the people that my government attacks. And you're going to say that the people attacking me are my enemies?
In my mouth. Nobody's saying that.
I'm asking you a question. That's why I said contend with what I'm asking you.
Under embargo by international criminal Zionist entities that 90% of the Secretary of Treasury and the Fed and all that fucking banks that impose the sanctions are led by Jewish CEOs. The country is under embargo. They have no other choice. They are literally adapting and surviving and searching for any few hundred years to survive and feed their families. You're going and putting bombs in them, and then we're so innocent. Thousands of terrorists went October the 7th, and we didn't know. It's not like, yeah, we know we allowed it because we're Satanists and we want 40,000 children to die for our God, Satan. No, but we can put.
You're all over the place. You're all over the place. But you're all over the place. Let me just answer what you're saying.
They can put strategic bombs in phones or in another country, but they can't stop October the 7th, right? Bullshit, bro. They just want blood. Satanism, nothing else. They want blood. Any excuse for blood.
Okay, so like. We'll start from the beginning. Are you saying that Lebanon has a right to be part of the central bank?
What's your even question? What are you even saying?
Bro, you're just throwing words out at me. Like you're saying the central bank and the Federal Reserve. Like what are you talking about?
Banks of Lebanon and the country of Lebanon is under international Western embargo. They are under sanctions.
Do they have a right not to be?
Of course they have a right not to be. Why should they?
Okay, so a country can say, we don't want to do business with you. Like, does that country have a right to force another?
An imperialist empire is different than a single country telling them. And also, that's the point. It's not even the country telling them.
So you're saying that another nation has to... But you're saying another nation has to deal with
that empire. It's not even the country. People, if you ask the average American where is Lebanon on the map, maybe they're gonna point to China or some shit. The international Zionist elites are imposing those sanctions.
Okay, but again, as opposed to what exactly? Because you're saying they have sanctions against them, okay, as opposed to what? You're gonna force people to have to deal with them.
No, don't do it with them. Don't sanction them. Sanction them is that don't avoid and don't do neither nor.
But why? You can sanction them.
No, because that's evil. Again, that's evil.
Why is that?
Because you're black. You have the Diddy and Epstein. You're blackmailing those countries. It's not those countries imposing those. You're blackmailing those countries and putting your Satan worshipping elite. Then those elites are putting laws and regulations to embargo every single resistance country because you want to create this international supremacy because you have your God that you need to sacrifice blood to. Simple as that.
So you're equating
with it. Why do you?
So you're equating sanctions to Satanism.
Yeah, why do you keep doing that?
Makes no sense.
Yeah, why do you keep doing that? Satan has nothing
Because
to do with it.
it's completely connected. Because it's cross-disciplinary. It's connected.
It's cross-disciplinary.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy to think that international actors are acting because of some kind of secret Satanism.
Yes, it's so crazy. That's why Epstein exists. That's why Diddy exists.
Crazy.
That's why Getty exists. It's so crazy. Wow.
It's
You
so
took that
crazy
line.
because
You took that line at 5,000 years. That's why you've been kicked out of 109 countries.
Hey, man. You don't know how to have a conversation.
You lie. You literally lie. I won't have a conversation with people who intentionally lie and think someone in front of them because they have some intellectual quantum linguistics.
I think
I think I spoke pretty late.
Hold on, both of you. Sweet Potato Head, if you want to engage in a conversation, you cannot just go crazy and attack, dude. Like, Caleb is making a few points, and you cannot just say that he is an unintellectual and stupid and whatever. Just try to engage with people if you really want to talk.
I'll try to real quick.
I just think you're making a bad. I think you're jumping the shark a little bit, right? It's one thing if you want to say there's blackmail and there's this and there's that, but I think the fact that you then go and say they're doing it because of Satanism, that's like that doesn't make any sense.
Why not? Why else would they do that?
Why do the Muslims do what they do?
There's all kinds of reasons
Muslims are doing what?
that have nothing to do with religion. You're just a hater.
Wait, what did he say?
No,
he
what do you mean?
Why the Muslim? So you're saying the
Muslims
Islamic religion is forcing the Muslims to do what they're doing, and I'm telling you exactly, maybe if that is true, then in the same equation comes that the Satanist religion is forcing those Satanist global elites to do what they're doing. How? Otherwise, why would you put a fucking politician in a room and rape them and take a picture and blackmail them? Because you're Satanist, you're evil, you're devil.
The Satanist.
Yeah, you're just you're conflating way too many concepts.
It's not even conflating, it's
Not even.
interconnected, and when you realize it, that's why you get censored and banned and people fight you because people are brainwashed slave zombies.
Bro,
That's exactly the point. They don't want you to wake up and interconnect all this stuff together. No. If you do that, you're a fucking anti-Semite.
Well, I didn't call you an anti-Semite. I just
No,
said
not
you're
you.
wrong and you're
They,
conflating
they.
concepts. Yeah, who's they?
I mean, you
Whoever
are an
was-
anti-Semite. Just stand on your square. You are one. So just say that you are.
I don't give a shit if someone is believing in Islam or Judaism or Christianity or what. I only give a shit when something is Satanist, right? So anti-Semite. If you mean by anti-Semite, I'm anti-Satanist. Yes, I am. If you mean by anti-Semite, I'm anti-Jew. Fuck no. So you have to decide if Semites are
how do you
Satanists.
know who's a Satanist? Hey, how do you know who's a Satanist?
Very simple. Whoever intentionally does harm and bad and negativity for the self-imposing ego and supremacy. Very simple.
Where do you get that definition from?
By reading, learning, and realizing and seeing history. I'm back yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
Basically, his feelings.
Like what? Like what source? Like what thinker says this?
That's exactly the point. Intellectual, linguistic tactics to diverge the main topic about reality and make everyone lose control and lose focus and attention, so that
For what
our
purpose?
empire continues to expand.
I'm sorry to say, you're a moron.
Yeah, exactly.
But expand to what exactly? I just don't understand. Like, who's expanding?
Not the planet. To the entire planet. Simple as that.
Expanding what? Sorry, you cut out.
They're Satanist and supremacist, ego-based empire on the face of the entire fucking planet.
But for what purpose? What purpose?
Because they're Satanists, they want to subjugate and enslave the entire everyone who they can.
And you think that a group of how many people is this?
What group of the elites?
A group of whatever you're talking about. You haven't named
I don't know.
anything. You just keep saying words.
I
Like you
don't
haven't
fucking know exactly
named
the
people.
number.
You don't
I
know
don't even
numbers.
need to know the
You
number.
don't know where they're situated. Like you're just saying a bunch of words, bro. Like
Yeah, that's the point. That's the tactics, exactly. The lying tactics. And continue that. Good job. Continue
lying
and then
tactics?
be happy with your payroll or whatever the fuck emotional support that you're getting. Before it's too late. Anyways.
I don't know what you're talking about. Emotional support. Who's lending me emotional support? Or financial support, or I don't know what you're talking about. Like, bro, I've contended with everything you've said. I've asked you questions, but you just keep saying words that mean absolutely nothing.
I'm literally asking you a question. But you're
You
trying
you haven't asked me a coherent question once.
I literally did. That's what I
You went on long tangents about globalization, elites, banking, Federal Reserve, like
They're not
all this.
absolutely not. They're not connected.
All of this.
Yeah, we have to go
sentence.
to work, pay taxes, go home, sleep. Nothing is connected. Everything is fake. Everything is a lie. Absolutely not. The Titanic didn't sink because of some shit. The 9/11 didn't happen because of some shit. No. They're not connected. Absolutely not. Repeat the lie 1,000,000 times, and the stupid people will believe it. Good strategy. I have to give credit. Yeah, exactly. They're not.
Bro, listen to what you're saying. You're saying paying taxes, 9/11, like the Titanic. Bro, listen to what you're saying.
Absolutely connected in one international project.
Your epistemology's fried.
Yeah, exactly.
Like what you take as evidence, fried.
So I was going to chime in real quick, if that's all right. It's difficult for me to chime in right now. I look at it a lot like the Muslims and the Jews probably both have the enemies of the Christian are fighting themselves. They're fighting themselves. So I don't want to interrupt them while they're killing each other. However, I would like to know what do you think about this? As I sit and watch your tactics and how you destroy the enemy, knowing the control that these small group of people, these extremist type people, it's a small group, but they do control music, they control the media, they have a huge influence on the American government.
That's lies. That's not
Keeping the banks also, they control quite a bit. Keeping that in mind, do you think that Australia, Europe, the United States, Canada, do you think that we will be worried at all that ties to people that would do this could eventually hurt us? Especially being an American is why I ask. If say, the Hillary Clintons of America get put in power and they act nasty, at that point, would
Exactly.
a tactic that you would use be to blow up all the phones of any Marine or any service member in America?
I don't give a shit about Hezbollah. Why I would support them? I'm a Christian patriot, right? I'm a Christian nationalist as well. But the problem is, you are the non-Muslim people of the West somehow believing in this whole bullshit, supporting international Satanists. It will backfire in our fucking faces. Our iPhone, our phones, it will fucking backfire like shit. And those you know what? Israel has enough power to take over the Middle East because of Western empowerment and aid and all that shit. But if Israel ceases to exist, which I'm not advocating for, if this Iran, Hezbollah shit take over, we can beat the shit out of them. So we have to fight the ultimate biggest evil, like during the Second World War. Just because we wanted to fight the Nazis, we destroyed the shit out of the continent, and we allowed the communist class of people to take over, which were originally the bad evil. So I don't give a shit about Israel existing. I don't give a shit about Hezbollah winning. I don't give a fucking shit. Let them fuck each other.
Well, actually, that is not entirely true, because the other day when you were more calm and more in your senses, you were explaining to us how is it that you supported the IRGC because of things that how they have protected don't give a shit because that was your position back then, at least the one that you chose to share with
I'm
us.
not changing that. I don't give a
Okay, so don't say that you don't give a shit.
I don't
That's
give a
you
shit.
should have one happens to play full out.
Let me clarify. I don't give a shit in the context that I'm not fucking part of them. I'm not their supporters.
I know you're not part of that, but you feel morally leaning to
Of
support
course.
them because of the way what they have represented for you. Your people.
100%. And I'm telling you, the shit that we're supporting now at the West, whatever Israel is doing, bro, this guy was a fun. What the fuck will happen if tomorrow we have CBT?
Okay, just hold on. Breathe a little bit because you're getting. I don't want to control you, but you're getting very heated up, and that's the reason why people end up yelling in this room. So I don't want it to happen. Just
Tomorrow,
calm down.
we're gonna wake up, we're gonna have no cash, which is not even a fucking science fiction anymore. It's reality. There's literally papers published by every single fucking central bank that they're working on. It's just a matter of time that they do it. We will have iPhones, and we will be forced to have our money in it. What that you're supposed to
Well, I think that we go in older school and we'll either go to Papyrus or maybe Passenger Bridge.
we will have bad
Signal could be, yeah.
Hey, Scott, can you? You know what?
Happy, man. I want to be a mom. Like,
Okay, I'm gonna do much of right now.
They're kicking me.
Right, there you go. Go ahead, do what you want. Hey, you do some editorial things. Just start mine.
Isn't that awesome? As soon as Adrian comes in the room, that is a woman who lives in fear.
Even your coffee machine can blow on your face in the morning once you're doing a coffee if it's not clean enough. You know, like I mean, it's a risk. Yeah, you drive a car, it can just blow up. I mean, like
Well,
it's
he's saying it's stemming from the government, but I mean, like the phones is like. At worst, your phone is not going to explode. Your phone is just going to catch fire. Like what happened in Lebanon is like there were actual like explosive elements implemented in those devices.
Hold on, what happened in Lebanon was that it was meant to be like that. They were beepers. They were not faulty beepers. It's not like they hacked them. I mean, they hacked them not on the go. They were built like that. They had something in it. They were supposed to do that.
Hungary. Yeah,
Let me just put it to you like this: like you're watching way too many of like these crazy movies. I'm not suggesting that we're not going.
They're already firing missiles at each other, so why do you think it's a big deal if it's a different country? That doesn't mean anything.
I think it's such a like a PR move more so than like a solution to their problems.
No, what are you talking about? It's both. I think it's both. It's not just one thing. First things first, you're killing Hezbollah operatives only. I don't know why that's a thing. Two is if you...
How many children died?
How many children died? Go ahead.
At least 2 so far.
Okay, so if you give your Hezbollah walkie-talkie to your child, that's kind of a you problem. So that's going to collateral damage. That's better than bombing your entire city and, killing how many kids. You can't bitch about the kids dying in Gaza because of the airstrikes and say, oh, this walkie-talkie should take this back. So what? Do you prefer airstrikes? What do you think they should do?
How about they just end the occupation?
Yeah, it's not that simple. That's just so retarded and gay. It's just... things are not.
Listen, people think and then say things all the time which mean nothing and have no relevancy, or it's just opinion statements, but that's because she has yet to realize how to optimize her time in life. Making statements which will never come true and are not in reality is pretty much what all, monkeys are doing all the time. I mean, hopefully you'll become intelligent and you won't do it all the
If you're
time.
a child, that's kind of a problem. Yeah, no. So that's what's collateral damage. Anyways, again, see, that opens up another discussion. So the Israelis, they did that, okay? Each and every single one of them packed up their bags and like, adios, I'll go back to bed. Okay, and then what? So we end the Jewish occupation, now we have a Muslim occupation, yeah, sure. Like, yeah, I'm not so interested.
So do you think Zionism is technically like an alternative fascism?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Fuck yeah. Zionism is exactly like Nazis, but I don't think there's anything wrong with Nazis. You see, so fine with Zionism, but I don't support it.
And Islam is just another fascism, right?
Yeah, actually, there's a book called Islamic Fascism, and it's a beautiful book because Islam is exactly like Nazism also.
So, I mean, obviously there is no solution. There's just not, because it's opposing forms of the same tyranny, just branded differently through language and communication.
Exactly. So that's why I wouldn't pick sides, and I definitely wouldn't die for the cause, quote unquote, or I wouldn't even spend money on it. I wouldn't spend energy, focus. Why would you do that?
Because you got no other opportunities, and you've been brainwashed into thinking that dying for your country instead of making somebody else die for their country is the way to win a war, stay alive. I mean, it's up to you to stay alive. It's up to you to have children, because if you have children and stay alive, you're winning at the game, whatever the fuck this game is, but it's a game.
It is a game that's not worth playing.
Both of you, John and Randy, are not playing.
No, it is a game worth playing. And any position that you take, I will be a contrarian and take the opposite position for the sake of devil's advocacy and conversational objectives, whatever those objectives are. I have no objective, thus, it's a game of one-upmanship. It's wordmanship or Hegelian dialectic upmanship. That's what's happening, at least on this app, unless your cell phone explodes.
Why would you do that?
Because you got no other opportunity. So basically, it becomes a game of self-improvement, because thinking that you're like one-upping somebody, if you think that changes your life, it doesn't. So if you're not trying to improve yourself, then you're really a total loser. And so like if you go to a lot of these other rooms where they'll kick you immediately, they themselves are just like fat blobs, sitting on a couch, and they're like, mod me up so I can kick Adrian. Vote Kamala! Allah.
Mod me so I can kick Adrian. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you hear that a lot, don't you?
Yeah, and these are people, they don't even want to mention me by name because they don't want people in the room even hearing about me. They just go mod me up, and then they kick me silently. They don't want to call any attention to my presence.
That's right. So what do we learn from that?
Well, I am on my own path of improvement and, process management in the same way that you are, in the same way that all these people are. I want to live my life in total love, like the savior of humanity. And thus, I don't have any, this is the great thing about being joyful, is you don't go from room to room or experience to experience in hate, even if people are spewing hate and stupidity. You are basically you become a clinician and you are observing a low IQ demonstration or a verbal. It's basically like listening to birds. Some birds really know how to put on a show, and some birds are just, they're not going to make it through the end of the day.
That's right. That's right.
Who are you, Beetlejuice?
I'm just saying, you need to know the spirit of the Torah, Adrian. And once you do that,
Yeah, I agree. The Torah is where it's at. It's like having the greatest dinner every day. If you think your meals are significant, if you like to eat great food, those are like nothing compared to the Torah. So, in terms of praxeology, if you have a really good book on praxeology and you read it daily and you remind yourself about the benefits of praxeology, if you do that daily, after just 7 days, you will have a birthday cake.
Girl, stop it.
What I'm trying to say is you will have a birthday cake every single Shabbos, which is a perfect peach made of gold, platinum, silver, diamonds, rubies, emeralds. You'll be rich if you know how to scratch that Torah itch.
that's right. Well, let the Torah scratch your itch.
Let the Torah do the speaking for us, and then you will come to learn the truth of the Torah and the earth.
That's right. That's right. I agree. 100% agree.
And then, you call up Raytheon, you call up Northrop Grumman, Boeing, and you place an order for, I don't know, another 1,000 missiles. Take it from 40 trillion to 50 trillion, 50 trillion to 60 trillion, 60 trillion to 70 trillion, all the way up to $100 trillion in debt. And then you declare bankruptcy. And then the banks will all collapse and will reconsolidate in the first intergalactic Yiddishkeit JPAMK empire.
That's right.
What I'm trying to say is, a lot of people are just entrepreneurs and they come up with a quick little scam and they make $100 million and then they go into obscurity and they disappear. But when I think of great men in history like Napoleon or Caesar, I think of nation building and creating new empires, not just merely creating new startups or electric car companies or social audio chit chat apps like X platforms. So Adrian Dittman blocked me, okay? And they took my website down, adriandittman.com. Now that is next level censorship. That Elon Musk could actually get my website shut down. Boom. That's what I call hypnosis. Therapist.
I'm moving here, man. And I want to move the fucking the money in Indiana or New Jersey, wherever that is. But the cost of living is so fucking high in Jersey.
Yeah, you gotta work for a hedge fund.
In Chicago, where he is, right? Well, that's where the money went in the trucking industry. The money is in Chicago, right?
There's a lot of truckers in Chicago.
They're giving out the most money in Chicago, right? That's where I always gave my people that you can get your contracts there because you are a business owner.
Satanic ads and put it in your ass. Motorola, of course, I know it. You know what's sad? You know what's funny?
Tell me.
Brooks, I swear to God, from the days I was in Syria like 20 years ago, we were literally everyone knew Motorola is like Zionist Israeli company, and it was actually bad that people buy phones from it. I don't know how the fuck they end up having this picture.
Hi, I'm sorry, moderators. Maybe I could lead you in a guided breathing meditation if that would be okay, because I feel like at this point, if you listen to Postagion for much longer, you may.
I wouldn't mind. Like, I think we'll need. Hey!
Wait,
Simon!
why did you move?
I think we will need. I didn't. It was Simon. Simon can't stand
Good
it.
job, Sam.
I don't not like him.
We need a
You
break. I mean, like,
actively
well,
moved him in the
especially
middle of
Sweet
the-
Potato Head needs to breathe. So yeah, I think that we would be
Yeah, we don't
could
need admin.
benefit from a breathing exercise.
The exercises.
Oh, Simon,
Yeah, I'm sorry, Simon. You confirmed that you gave up God at 7 years old today. I mean, you think you're an intellectual academic. You barely speak English. You mumble your words. I don't know what you do with your life, but you are in desperate need of meditation and breathing and stillness and peace, just like Postagion, who is an angry, upset young man who hates not only Hamas and Israelis, he hates everyone and everything. Where is the joy in your life? Where is the peace in your heart? Rabboinai Shaloi, my Torah lesson is complete.
I want Kamala to win as well.
No, fuck you all. I'm
No,
gonna
what
put
do
you
you
on.
mean? You want the slave of Israel to be the president of the United States? Good job.
I definitely want Kamala to win. It's gonna make my
100%.
life a little easier to get into the country.
Joyful, and we're gonna be
I
happy.
mean, I'll probably get like 10K just from going from the southern border.
Well, thanks a lot, Simon. I'll make sure DHS knows to reject your application when you apply from France. Good luck getting in next time, sucker.
Yeah, I'm not coming in from France.
Why do you hate him so much, Simon?
I don't hate him.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I don't dislike Simon either. I mean, I have nothing. The great thing about listening to Simon is he can test your emotional nerves in a way which I find interesting. Like, why am I so emotionally triggered by Simon?
But I love Simon.
I mean, Postagian, I've listened to you very closely. And what's it like living in your shoes every day? Are you full of anxiety, fear, depression, hate, rage, sorrow? What's going on in your life?
I'm not a Satanist who loves killing people.
Nobody loves killing people. What the fuck are you talking about?
They do. We're seeing it. They're social messages.
If you can't actually be personal, yeah, if you can't be personal, then you're just a robot and you're highly programmed repeater box. You just repeat things. Can you even be personal? Can you even talk about your life? I bet you can't. I bet you just repeat yourself. You're just a robot. My name is Postagion, unit number 0045. I will repeat, and genocide free Palestine, and genocide free Palestine, and genocide free Palestine. And do you like the music yet? And Palestine. This is what it's like dealing with robots. I deal with robots all the time on this app, in the streets. I just heard a robot in the street screaming.
This is this is along the mantra of CRT, BLM, LGBTQ, CRT, BLM.
Don't offend Daniel.
It's from hair, no?
Huh?
It's from hair? No.
Yeah, we did that. Adrian did that for us, and we all started singing it.
I know, of course.
We even shut up, Oxygen. We recorded a clip of it, and even with a Jew harp, like ding, 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 ding. It was amazing. And now we have what's the new mantra?
The new one is CRT, BLM, LGBTQ, DEI, CIA, LSD. You can whatever you.
No. The new one is what was it? Free Palestine.
Oh, free Palestine and genocide, free Palestine and genocide, free Palestine and genocide.
Communication is hypnosis, Daniel.
Just, guys, you need to understand it's a very hard day for the anti-Zionists. Please find the closest anti-Zionist to you and see that he's okay. What's happening in
You see,
Lebanon? It's not
Pastor
easy.
John, if you do this mantra, maybe the microchip pager will melt. I think it's a special frequency.
You see, he's right. It's hypnosis.
Yeah, communication is hypnosis.
He was talking about mantra. Now I left for an hour and a half, and what you talking about? The mantra again. Just not the Torah.
Somebody mentioned something about the banks in Lebanon and how, everyone lost half of their life savings because they didn't have access to the Federal Reserve window. And I got to say, there could be some truth to that bailout story that, you know, the Federal Reserve didn't want to bail you guys out, and that's why you lost half of your life savings. And I just want to applaud the Federal Reserve for doing that to put pressure on your country to conform to standardizations of normalization of laws and not hosting Islamic militants that are terrorizing people in the north of their country. So maybe that was a great move that all you guys lost your money in Lebanon. So let's just give a round of applause to the Zionist Federal Reserve holders and board members that helped to destroy the Lebanese life savings.
Satanist. You're a Satanist.
Did someone throw him down to the audience?
Yeah, it was too much.
Thank you. Super thank
So
you.
I predict the future, and I'm the one who gets called out.
What do you mean by predicting the future?
That he was gonna get kicked out.
Trying to predict the future, the crystal ball will break.
So what will explode next?
Maybe Netanyahu. Oh wait, that's that one. Oh, sorry.
Fax machines all over the place.
Hamas.
Oh my god, stop doing that.
You know how funny is that they use intentionally the word when they can say hell. They don't say hell, but they want to sound like sophisticated bullshit.
Oh wait, you think people that say ha can't say ha?
You
You
can
know
say
what's funny? You know what's funny?
Wow.
You know what's funny? That the Palestinians cannot say Palestine. They say Palestine with a B.
Oh, I hear Philistine with an F.
Palestine, yes.
This is.
They cannot say
Yes, I'm from Philistine.
Philistine. Because they cannot say
Free Philistine. You must leave our land.
I guess some art from Vietnam once upon a time.
But you know, to me,
yesterday.
That generational trauma.
Lion, you weren't here yesterday when she got into a fight. Lion, were you here yesterday when she got in a fight with King Solomon?
I mean, that's not new, bro.
Solomon hasn't been here for a whole week, bro. And she's still.
People who really do value the power of the Holy Spirit, being able to express it more. And I think people that have been curious about God are understanding in certain ways why, because they're seeing a lot of what's happening in the world and realizing that, you know, real foundations have to be established because what they've trusted in has failed them one way or another. And I think it's making people more open to considering, you know, faith matters a lot more, especially when you look at what's happening in Israel and Palestine. You know, it's become much more of a prominent matter in the UK and Europe for people to discuss it and explore and consider with much more depth. And I think it's also reminded people that this is also a religious matter in certain ways. And so I think it's rekindling the awareness and the importance of having a strong foundation built off of being united with God and actually understanding your Bible because of how relevant it always is, but also how accurate it is in its expression.
You know, the thing about the word Holy Spirit is the first word is like whole, and the second word is spear. So, you know, that concept of the whole spear, that thrust of power, you know, and if you got the Holy Spirit, you know, you kind of have to renew it. That's what I've read every day. And so there's ways to induce it. You know, which is essentially like chakra activations. I mean, it's basically living a very healthy lifestyle, you know, intellectually, spiritually, physically, being one with your environment. And then, you know, knowing what the truth is. So the truth is that everyone, in my opinion, is the eternal dancer or God in drag. And you're can set yourself free and come to that rationalization conclusion by studying the liturgy, by having a glass of red wine on a Friday, by being a good person, by doing penitence, by going to church, by developing yourself, in 360 degrees and being one with the Spirit. So if it's on your lips and you live in joy and happiness, well then, it's nice to share that good news with other people that, hey, guess what? You could be happy too. You don't have to live your life in fear. You could live your life in strength and joy and courage. So there is this Hegelian dialectic aspect to the Holy Spirit. And I've read in Chinese philosophy that, and in Christian philosophy or Christian, in the New Testament, that the Word, became flesh, God became flesh, through Jesus, all this. So the Word, the Logos, that dialectic is of positivity, and it's the word yes, not the word no. And if you listen to the Shriners advertising commercials where they have these like dwarfs in wheelchairs asking you to donate yes, you will see how marketing and advertising uses words to get you to give, to get you to feel good. And so it's, I believe in it. I think it works in the sense that if you want to live a good life, you want prosperity, joy, and happiness and security, you can use it for strength. So it's intelligence. And if you deny it because you're an atheist and God is not with you, it's not to your advantage. It's to your disadvantage. You are, you're generally an effeminate man or a lesbian woman. Something to that extent. You're to the left as opposed to the right, which is strength. So the big word is courage, and everyone can obtain the strength if they have the courage of will to study the wisdom of God. And you can't get the Spirit of God without wisdom. It takes work. It's a job to uncover God, because God is hidden behind veils. And if you want to expose those veils, you have to get really deep inside, within, and come to that conclusion or that rationalization through study and being like a hermit. You can't do it by, being Elon Musk and farting in your Tesla, giggling at memes. That's not wisdom study. Elon Musk is a moron. He pontificates and philosophizes, but it's like that of a 2-year-old. I mean, you could study Aristotle for 10 minutes and be like, oh shit, Elon Musk is a moron. He's a farter. He's a burper. He's a vulgar person. He's got 16 kids with eight different women. It costs an arm and a leg to manage and maintain all that retinue. Anyways, this is just me theoretically speaking. I hope you enjoyed.
Hey, Cheeseburger. I can always count on you. A little bit of comic relief.
But yeah, as I was saying earlier, what was your views as well, Keith, from what I mentioned?
Yeah, I was just curious about your experience there and if you were receiving any pushback or if it was, if anyone was trying to shut that down. But, 70,000 people, that's amazing. That's miraculous. Like, God bless you and Godspeed to you.
Yeah, there's definitely like the scriptures talk about the fact that there's spiritual warfare, as opposed to physical warfare.
But there's like psychological warfare.
Yeah, there has been some encounters I've had with people who've tried to.
But you're a Jew hater. You hate Jews.
No, I don't.
Really? I've heard you in rooms for like hours going on about Jews.
Come on. We're not.
I don't think you've got the right person.
Really?
That's what I'm working on. That's what I told you. And you can just do surprise stuff just with your friends.
You could do psychological work now. All you got to do is not be angry, and the world will come.
That's why I don't like these people. They be trying to make me seem like an angry person. I'm in here having a conversation.
No, it's true. It's true. If you want more money.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and head out and let you talk there.
You don't gotta leave, but
Pepper! Spicy!
maybe this is the day. Calm down.
She's going nuts. She's exploding like a volcano. You're exploding like a volcano.
Good conversation, Jazzy. I just think I had very good conversation. Don't do that. Okay. Okay, she don't want to talk to him? She kicked him?
She can kick me. I don't care. Kick me.
No, kick him. Just kick him. Just kick him. She said she'll hang out with you if you can.
And the fact she got niggas on Clubhouse pulling up to her house trying to hurt her, and we're only calling you because we're worried about your well-being. She's like, hold on, what? I don't even see my cousin. I ain't seen my cousin since the last funeral. But I heard some things. Her cousin literally got fooled into saying, my cousin might, you know what I mean? We might not be close. She didn't say anything negative or bad. She was just like, I don't fuck with my cousin like that because, she on a different side of the family. That was her word. She was like, she's a head nurse and that. She was like, this is why I tell, this is why I don't do social media. She was like, because of this, I'm not interested in meeting strangers and fighting with them because it.
She's a smart cousin.
Excuse me, that dish that is savory and good for them. Ask them about their palate. That's what you want to know. The more people you ask, the more you can cross-reference this. Do exactly what Jazzy said. Go take a few classes that teach you about the different herbs, the different spices, how they complement each other, what they do particularly. If this is what you want to do, learn to know how these things work. 2 years is not a long time. 2 years.
You could go to a library on a weekend and get a book on herbs and spices and know more than anybody. It just takes 2 hours of your time to open a book and learn whatever the fuck you need to learn. You are Neo in the Matrix. Smoke a joint, open a book, and you will program yourself on what you need to know.
Chill for a second. Danicus, you're partially right and mainly wrong. Because what you want to do, because he already said what he want to specialize in, which I'm not going to repeat.
Not really. I ain't saying I was specialized. I was just saying I had different ideas. I ain't really saying
those ideas.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can I have your beeper number, please? I just want.
Yes, you can. It's your mom's number.
Thank you. My mom doesn't have her own number.
You said your
mother's number.
You little kid.
Put it in your front pocket so you don't forget it. Your beeper.
No, I'm gonna put it exactly in your dad's ass.
Oh wow! I didn't even know you knew him.
You're an idiot, dude. Just.
You didn't tell me. I spoke him every Friday next to Daniel.
Your comebacks are ridiculous and weak, and I understand it's really hard this day for you guys, and I understand, I get it. This is why I have so much compassion to you today, because I think you're a piece of shit. But I understand it. It's hard.
Oh, he's triggered.
No, listen, what happened in Lebanon kind of created like a shell circuit in their heads. They're a bit fried. It's like added impact on there, it's like a small beeper in their head. They're kind of like fried.
I can't believe people still use pages.
Well, if you're a terrorist, and like to see them out to take them,
Because you got no other opportunities and you've been brainwashed into thinking that dying for your country instead of making somebody else die for your country is the way to win war, stay alive. I mean, it's up to you to stay alive. It's up to you to have children. Because if you have children and stay alive, you're winning at the game. Whatever the fuck this game is, but it's a game.
Why don't you just say congratulations.
No, it is a game worth playing. Any position that you take, I will be a contrarian and take the opposite position for the sake of devil's advocacy and conversational objectives, whatever those objectives are. I have no objective, thus, it's a game of one-upmanship. It's workmanship or Hegelian dialectic upmanship. That's what's happening, at least on this app, unless you're self-unexplored.
I didn't even know this about you. Do you? I didn't know.
He's like,
If you're a child, that's kind of a problem. So that's supposed to be actual damage. That's better than...
After this elderly man hit her car, they're...
almost like a phone.
Oh, Horatio, hi, bro.
What's up?
Good to see you.
Tomorrow, all the Dysons are going to explode.
What?
Yes.
They won't use iPhones, will they? That would be a terrible waste.
No, there were literally pictures and videos right now.
I'm trying to get it.
No, that's connected. They're American, they're not Jews, they're not Israeli.
Hey.
Now they've crossed the line. That's genocide switching.
It's a homicide.
Yeah, don't come to my phone.
Apple side.
Apple side.
Android's first day to go.
And I want to know if someone's writing a movie or at least a show about all those events that I had.
I was thinking it should be a movie too. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's like, wow.
El Normo and
Why people don't do Nazi movies then?
there's so many Nazi movies. Are you serious?
Oh really? Celebrating the death of civilians?
They're all in black and white, though, it seems.
Civilians.
Watch Jojo Rabbit was the John. It's really good.
That is
My
amazing.
film.
I know.
They've crossed the line. That's genocide switching.
Yeah, Jojo Rabbit was a chubby kid. Jojo
Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah, but there's also Roger Rabbit.
She's talking about something as it's directed by Taika Waititi.
Come on, you should watch it.
Did you like it?
I'll put it in the chat.
Ethiopia, they have like a fake version.
I didn't like it. There are a lot. They
Oh, did you
proliferate.
not?
They multiply. Rabbits multiply very quick.
Did you find it offensive, Norm, or did you just find it bad taste?
I just got bored. I went to sleep like 2/3 of the way through. I didn't like it.
Okay.
The people I was watching it with stayed with it to the end, and my kids said it changed. Yeah, it's like an Anne Frank story. It's like Anne Frank.
It's way better. You didn't get to the part where the little chubby kid, he steals the show.
It's better
Just
than
watch
Anne
that.
Frank.
It's way better, man. Okay,
The
let me
ending
put the
is
scene
much
that I
better
like
than
in the
upbeat.
chat, okay?
That's anti-Batman.
It's very stuck on it for strikes or
Yeah.
When the little chubby kid goes, the Russians are coming here, and they're worse than the Nazis. They'll fuck all dogs. And the way he's like explaining that the whole world is coming.
It kind of looks like a Bill Murray film.
Did you know there's another UN resolution?
Yeah.
That's right. The UN General Assembly voted in favor of a resolution requiring Israel to withdraw from the Sinai territories and impose sanctions on Israel officials, along with the weapons and bombs. In favor 144 states, against 14, abstention 43.
General Assembly.
But we also
see things that you left out the most important part. Also, Israel has to replace all the penises that it blew off yesterday. Daniel, you left that out.
Okay, we don't have enough, so we'll give like smaller ones. We'll just cut them into.
My Peter was hitting, so I had to step away for a second.
not a small penis.
But I think most of the important countries voted against. So that's.
Now might be sexist and racist in important countries.
Fiji,
In other countries that are
Hungary,
important.
Malawi. Stop that place! Shut the fuck up! So I read it again. Argentina, Czechia,
South Africa.
Fiji, Israel, Hungary, Malawi, Indonesia, Palau,
Important
Papua
countries.
New
Yeah,
Guinea,
important countries. Yeah.
Paraguay,
Paraguay.
Tonga, shut the fuck up, Tonga, Tuvalu, and United States of America.
Don't get your gay teammates excited, bro.
Why? Tuvalu gets it, dude. We don't get it.
Now it's racist too. Important countries.
Why not? Because they're African, they're not important for you?
Because countries are divided by
You're saying that, not me. You're saying that.
But that is racist. Are you going to do PlayStation 5 next day or the organization?
Why are you in such a useless valley?
Anti-Semitic. Everything is anti-Semitic. They're all dictatorships. No, they're not anti-Semitic. They're stupid.
Because you got no other
It's like you, Buster G.
What did South Africa? What did you guys do to South Africa for them to beat you guys?
Nothing. They just supported the apartheid with weapons and
They're a client of Iran.
And some countries have a problem with Israelis not
They see South Africa has to drop its
Estoy chadito. Oiga, señor, we are federales. You know, the mounted police. If you're the police, where are your badges? Badges? We ain't got no badges. We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges. Better not come any closer. No sea tonto, hombre. We didn't try to do you any harm. Why don't you try to be a little more polite? Give us your gun, and we leave you in peace. I need my gun myself. Throw that old iron over here. We'll pick it up and go on our way. You go anyway without my gun and go quick. All right. Vámonos para atrás. ¡Párele! Vengan acá todos. Vengan a ver esta palomita que me encontré en su nido. Está echadita. Oiga, señor. We are federales. You know, the mounted police. If you're the police, where are your badges? Badges? We ain't got no badges. We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges. Better not come any closer. No sea tonto, hombre. We didn't try to do you any harm. Why don't you try to be a little more polite? Give us your gun, and we leave you in peace. I need my gun myself. Throw that old iron over here. We'll pick it up and go on our way. You go anyway without my gun and go quick. All right. Vámonos para atrás. ¡Párele! Vengan acá todos. Vengan a ver esta palomita que me encontré.
Okay, this is Supreme Intelligence. Ishmael the Gorilla. You know, I liked it when we had that room called the Ishmael Gorilla Show. I felt like I was like your talent agent and producer and like, you know. But the thing is, we could do it. We got to come up with a better name. I mean, but, what was interesting is yesterday you left when I was reading Maimonides, and then right when you left, Maimonides started talking about Ishmael. And I was like, whoa. I was like, man, I can't believe this. Like, this is crazy.
Every time you say Maimonides, it kind of sounds like you're saying.
What, like
It kind of sounds like you're saying my nigga Monides. Like every time I hear you say, maybe this is the irascible fool, but this is what it sounds like. When you hear Maimonides, it kind of sounds like my nigga Monides.
Well, I think it's almost like I think it's also like Nostradamus, meaning that there's the motif of the wise man or the wise kingly man or the wise hermit. And Maimonides just like checks all those boxes because he definitely was like a real person and like a real mystic and a real wealthy, powerful person of extreme intelligence and sophistication. So, you could listen to Meyer talk to you about this and that. Oh, I got to go into a meeting. I'll be back. And then they use all these big words to try to like talk about technical aspects of politics or philosophy. And, you just don't get direct transmission in conversations. So thus, it's very rare. If you were to create a room show and call it Show Me Your Torah, and somebody had to give a speech impromptu about wisdom, are you shitting me? Super complicated. Nobody could do it. It's like you could start with astrology. You could go talk about Old Testament, New Testament. Like if somebody can give a lecture on wisdom, show me. But I doubt it. Very few people can just go right into Torah, and give me the meat and potatoes of wisdom, which is what Torah is. And yesterday Maimonides shows how Torah is elevated to such a high place that even God in Shemayim studies Torah. So what does that tell you? That's like the God in drag hypothesis. So study Torah if you want to be like God, because God studies Torah. And if you put on tefillin, that's a good time to do it. I have a book on how to do tefillin, and I've yet to really ingest that book. It just sits there on the shelf like a collectible. But see, the problem with the conversation is that it's a spectacle, and some spectacles are better than the other. I think the spectacle here on Clown House is pretty good. I think everybody should be recording this conversation because they only happen once and they're not on record. And you get a lot of great conflict and a lot of great Tao Te Ching, which is opposites, And freedom of speech, though we preach it, it's very rare that you get to see freedom of speech in action, without censorship.
All right. There's also that song by Cannabis, Nigonometry. Do you know that song? Nigonometry? Have you heard that? All right. Well, that is a classic rap song, Nigonometry. And, all right. This is stupid anyway. See, now what? You're the king of irascible fools, and now you're telling me not to play the fool? Look, my point is just that in the song he says Nigonometry, and if you could write a rap song and you would say that's Maimonides.
So the thing about irascibility is in the tarot and Kabbalah, it's the fool. That's the starting point, which is like infinity or zero. I mean, everyone comes out of this consciousness of stupidity. Everyone is a fool. You become a magician. The magician becomes the hermit becomes the emperor becomes the hierophant. So it's east meets west. The hierophant is in the eastern portion of the temple, which meets with our western insanity, which is F words, N words, and war. And, if you think that the LGBTQ contingency of the CIA, the State Department, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, I mean, they have their own union for LGBTQ service members, and the president of that union makes $1 million, F word, N word. How much do you make, Ishmael? If you don't try to, do some type of radical psychological transformation, which I think Torah is the way, it's a good way, there's other ways, meaning that you could study Crowley, you could study Thelema, you could study Hermeticism. Any ancient wisdom book is better than what you're doing now. So in the morning it's called the dawn meditation. Create a clown house room and read a book for all the F words, N words. Instead, you start working with the F words and N words, and you realize, it's me that had the problem. And I want, let the slaves serve is the expression in Thelema. So that's part of the rights of man, which is let the slaves serve. So a lot of people think slavery has been, abolished and destroyed or eliminated, Civil War, civil rights, etc. But no, they're still slaves because some people are communication slaves and they can't stop working. They can't turn on, tune off, and drop out. And then this becomes a spectacle hypnosis, and it's going to waste your life. I mean, I believe in recording it and bootlegging it. I mean, you know my position well, so I don't have any explanation to do other than to say, you are your own worst enemy. Vote Trump and go to the gym, fatty. Because it's possible that Trump doesn't make it to the election, and then what you going to do then? Are you going to get angry then? Are you going to get more radical then? No. I'm going to become a deeper meditationalist. You see what I'm saying? Like, you have to go the opposite. I've been a contrarian investor my whole life. I've been buying call options, put options, shorting stocks, buying stocks long. My whole life, betting and wagering on contrarian investment principles as well as contrarian activities and communication in my life. I mean, you should basically, the Taoist philosophy is all about contrarianism, or really being a libertarian, meaning that you believe in testing liberty to achieve maximum desired outcomes, best possible outcomes. And that's what the Tao Te Ching is all about. It's about showing you the unity between opposite positions, which is basically Einsteinian relativity. Because it's about creating an equilibrium, which creates a gravity. That's how you create space. If you think about three-dimensional space, space is created by gravity. Gravity is created by intelligence and wisdom. And there's a bug. We just confirmed it. Beelzebub is near. Speak of the devil. Oh, better to have a fruit fly than a living wife that you hate. Divorce is real, man. You may get married and get divorced in your life. You should make sure that you have the wisdom and intelligence to prevent that from happening. I mean, Chris here is married, and, there's a 50-50 chance that marriages work, but in a conservative community, 90% of marriages work. So it's the liberals that get married and divorced because they believe in love. And then when they look over at their ex, and they look at their husband or her husband. I recently went out with a bisexual, and she was married to a woman. She recently got divorced, and she said when she would lean over and look at her wife, she was just like, ugh, I fucking hate this. I want to be out of this. Like, I do not want to be living with this woman. And, it's interesting because how gay people rationalize their unions, but then they still have to deal with their emotional self. So it's not really a question of their relationship. It's really a question of the relationship with self. And do you have a positive relationship with yourself, or do you have a destructive relationship with yourself? And I would say that most people are their own worst enemies. They put their foot in their mouth all day long, and everything they say is generally wrong. The opposite is generally true. So that's how a psychiatrist or a therapist, psychologist, or a spiritualist, or a sage, or a mystic, or a magician can help someone get to a rational position based on their incredibly stupid identity. And that is thus what we call omnipotence or omnipotent omnipresence, which is the divine light of Ein Sof, or you could say the illumination, which is the Illuminati. So if you want supreme intelligence and you want to be Mossad, you got to suck it off of Hashem's titty and get that Torah. And then when you get that milk titty juice from the Eternal Mother, and you become trans and cut your Johnson off and rename yourself and come out as a woman dressed up with big biceps. I was at a street fest here in Chicago, and there was a guy who was like a bodybuilder, but he was wearing high heels, a tight dress, and like a wig and tons of makeup. And it really does catch your eye because you're like, holy fuck, like what in the fuck? That's crazy. And then he's looking back at you and like,
Did I tell you about the dude whose boobs I looked at?
no.
Did I tell you about that? I was walking on the street, and you know sometimes you like see the boobs before you
Yeah.
see the person,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, up ahead there's amazing boobs. I don't really know who they're attached to. I just know there's boobs coming my way, and the boobs were coming, and they were wearing a white T-shirt, and you could see the nipples on the boob, and I was like, this is really my lucky day looking at these boobs. And then as she came by, I looked up and it was like the manliest man. It looked like an actor who I don't know the name of, but it was like a very manly.
You know,
And he was looking right into my eyes. He was like, I caught you looking at my boobs.
you know that guy Kevin on this app, Jewish kid from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
He told me to.
like that guy.
Yeah, I like him too. He told me to get this DVD, Pink Flamingo. It's like a trans movie, and then he told me also to get this movie like 30 Days in Sodom. It's about a fascist Italian government that like desecrates all these children, and kills them all. And it's a horrible movie, but it's just it's like a scat film. Like it's just the worst, disgusting movie you could ever imagine. But what would be really smart would be to recreate those movies today because there's like no chance that any movie that ever gets published in the movie theaters is like not just a reprint. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no way that they just don't keep recreating movies. Did you see any movies this summer? I mean, some people saw the Wolverine. Like I know that was a big one.
Shit's all fucked up. No, I haven't been to a theater in a while.
Yeah, I haven't been either. I mean, I would love to see the Wolverine movie. There's other films out there that I know are worth. Oh, my dad told me to see this movie called like Everything is a Racist or Am I a Racist? He said it's very funny. Have you seen the preview for it? It's with Matt Walsh, who's like he did that movie like What is a Woman or. Let me see. I haven't actually seen the previews, but my dad told me he can't stop laughing when he thinks about the movie.
I want to see it. All that racism stuff is like, it's just so awful. I mean, it's stupid, but it also, for me, is still kind of awful and triggering because I believed it for so long and I allowed it to destroy so many relationships, and so many of my peers are still under the spell of thinking that way, and it's just really sad.
Well, I'm totally content with all the relationships in my life, like 100%, because I come from the perspective that there's not a speck of dust out of place in the whole universe, that the way that everything has transgressed is the exact way that God wanted it to transgress. Another word for God is disposer. So in terms of like the generator of the simulation or the simulator generator, that grand architect, has basically like second to second organized this whole thing, From that I know that's not true, but from that perspective, like everything in your life that has come to pass exactly as the way that it was supposed to come to pass. Because if you were angry at a situation and you let it destroy a relationship, that was because you didn't really have love and kindness in your heart to like a very high degree. To know that blocking somebody, ghosting somebody, saying something nasty to somebody, posting something online and shitting on somebody or calling somebody out or being a prick, like all those things, that you may have done. I've done that a lot in my life. It all has a purpose, and it's all to basically wake you up. Because if you didn't slice somebody's throat or shoot somebody or kill somebody, you just word vomited on them, And if that's the worst thing you've ever done to somebody, well, then you've lived a pretty good life. But some people here have stuck knives in people, shot people, stole their wallet, took their car, took money out of their banks. I mean, did horrible things to people on this app. Lots of criminals on this app who have absolutely no penitence or repentance about their horrible crimes. And they giggle and laugh about it, about their victims. They do. I've heard Ish, which is short for Ishmael, laugh about his victims and laugh about the years that he fucked around with lawyers and judges. And then he comes up and he'll talk about, he'll talk for hours, composite-wise. People have been listening to Ish for years, and composite, that's hours of him spewing stupidity. And all that stupidity was absorbed and made everybody more stupid. So, supreme intelligence knows that there's no point in listening to people unless you're recording them and republishing them, because that at least gives you at least a better margin of error or a slightly better odd than the morons that are listening to it and not republishing it and knowing that, the only reason I'm listening to this waste of my time is to hopefully catch something on the internet, for monetary purposes. It's not working. So what does that tell you? It's even worth less because my republishing efforts have no success, meaning that what people are listening to on this app is really terrible, horrible, useless content. That's the understanding of supreme intelligence.